Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a get ready with me using some new makeup products. So I have a lot of fun things. I tried out some of these products for the first time on camera, and then a few of these I've been using for a little while. I have the new Sydney Grace Mel Thompson Tiny Marvels palette, which is so gorgeous. I wanted to do a look using this. I also have the ColourPop Luxe Lip Oils. Today I'm testing the new Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation. I'm going to do some check-ins so I can let you guys know how everything wears throughout the day. I have the new Hourglass mascara and then some new e.l.f. products as well. So all kinds of things. I hope you guys enjoy today's video. Let's jump right into it. I'm just going to use the e.l.f. Oil Control Primer Mist and apply a little bit of this because I am trying out a new foundation today. So I don't want to try a new primer because that will definitely influence how I feel about the foundation. And if I try a new primer and a new foundation, I never know what's working and what isn't. So I am testing out the new Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation. I was so excited about this because the original Too Faced Born This Way foundation never worked for me. I tried it so many times over the years and I wanted to like it because so many people love that one, but it always broke apart on my skin. So I was so excited when they came out with a matte version, especially because I love the, I love the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is like my favorite concealer of all time. The formula is perfect. So I kind of hope that this is similar, just a little bit more matte. I did get the shade Warm Nude, which I hope works well for me. I always purchase the wrong shade online. I was kind of debating between this and Almond, but because I wear Almond in the concealer, I thought it might be a little bit too light as a foundation shade. This is supposed to be oil-free, oil controlling, which is a big claim, waterproof and transfer resistant, 24-hour wear, so I will definitely do a wear test today and let you guys know how it looks at the end of the day. I'll put a list of the brushes that I'm using in the description box in case you guys are interested. I don't think I've purchased a new foundation in a while. Actually, I did purchase the new ColourPop Hydrating Foundation, which I really love, but that one is definitely more on the, well, actually that one has pretty good coverage. That one's like a medium to almost full coverage hydrating foundation that stays in place well. I've really been enjoying that. I did do a full review on it. If you want to check it out, I'll link it below. But I haven't purchased a new like full coverage matte foundation in a long time because I'm pretty loyal to my Fenty foundation, but the claims on this one just sounded really good. Okay, this is obviously too dark for me, so if this works well, I'm going to have to choose a lighter shade and mix them together. It is impossible to choose a foundation shade online. I always get it wrong. I don't think that I've gotten it right once. I either purchase one that's too light or too dark, and I look up swatches. Like, I put my research in when it comes to purchasing a new foundation shade because I don't want to purchase the wrong shade. And obviously right now, most people are kind of shopping online. And even if you shop in stores, I assume you probably can't swatch products or anything like that. So that is what the first layer looks like. It looks good on my skin. I used about 1.5 pumps. So there are a few things I want to say. First of all, it's not as matte as I thought it was going to be. It looks a little bit more natural on my skin. Like, you can still kind of see my cheeks have like a slight luminosity to them. It definitely covered up my skin, covered up my redness, and I have kind of like a breakout going on down here. But you can still see pretty much all of my freckles through this foundation. So I have to say it looks a little bit more skin-like than I initially thought that it would, which I don't mind. I've kind of been into a little bit more of like a medium coverage foundation these days. Let's build it up on this cheek over here and just see if it layers nicely in case you do want like a true intense full coverage finish. So it definitely builds nicely. I mean, it doesn't look heavy or cakey on the skin at all. We'll just go in with a little bit on this cheek as well. It does kind of feel like it dried down pretty quickly though, so I wonder if that transfer proof claim is true. I think it looks really nice on the skin. For more of a full coverage matte foundation, I like how it has just like a slight luminosity to it. I wouldn't call it dewy by any means, but as you can see, like in the center of my face, it doesn't look so matte to the point where my skin almost looks dry. I would say that the foundation dried down. It's just like slightly tacky, but it doesn't transfer onto my fingers when I touch my face. So if you're someone who doesn't like to set your foundation into place, you could probably get away with just leaving this one, especially if you have normal skin. So far so good. I'm going to go in with the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer in the shade Light Vanilla, which honestly might be a little bit too light for this foundation. This kind of works for my other foundations, but we'll make it work. I just apply some under my eyes, between my brows, and then right around my nose as well. And I'm just going to blend this out. So to set my under eye concealer, I'm going to use this e.l.f. matte setting powder. I've been looking for an alternative to the Urban Decay velvetizer, which is what I typically use to set my under eye concealer. It does kind of seem like they're discontinuing that, and I was able to find one backup online thanks to you guys. I'm trying not to like purchase too much of it, even though it is my go-to under eye setting powder. I try not to buy too many backups of products because I'm always able to find new products that I love, and if they are discontinuing it, I do want to find like a good alternative. I like this powder as a setting powder. It works really well to lock my foundation into place. So I'm kind of seeing if it's going to be a good under eye setting powder. I have a lot of, fine lines under my eyes. So I find that it's hard to find a powder that locks my concealer into place without looking too heavy. So far I am enjoying it. I'll keep you guys posted. That being said, to set the rest of my face, I'm just going to use my Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. This is a powder that I know performs very, very well. So whenever I test out a new foundation, I just like to apply this powder because if my skin starts to get oily or the foundation breaks apart, I know it's not the powder, I know it's the actual foundation. I forgot I wanted to try out one of the new e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balms. I've actually been using the clear one. This one is Mighty Mint and I really like it, but they also released some tinted ones. So this one is Tough Cookie, which I think is like a nude. Let's try it on. So this one does have a hint of color. It's kind of like a light cherry red, which I think is pretty. So if you are looking for some good tinted lip balms, you might like these. I think I'm gonna wait to do my brows after I do my eyes. I'm not in the mood to do my brows yet. So I'm going to go in with the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer. This is just one of the eye primers that I have open right now. My eyes are a little bit red and puffy right now. I'm dealing with seasonal allergies again. I don't know what is going on. 2 years ago, I remember mentioning that in one of my videos, and a lot of you guys told me that you have fall allergies as well. And I know it's still summer, but I feel like this was the time 2 years ago that they kind of kicked in. And then last year, I didn't have any issues at all. But the other day I woke up and my eyes were so red and itchy. And at first I thought maybe it was a makeup product I was using, but I hadn't worn a lot of makeup that week. So then I thought maybe it was skincare, but I hadn't switched up too many of my products and I realized it was allergies because I started sneezing and my throat was like kind of scratchy in the way that you know it's allergies, not like an actual sickness or a cold. So I feel like they're getting a little bit better because I did start taking some allergy medicine, but my eyes have been a little bit red and a little bit puffy. So anyway, today I'm using the Tiny Marvels palette by Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson. I am so excited. Mel created such a gorgeous palette. I talked about this briefly in my most recent purchase or pass video, and I told you guys I've been testing it out and I've really been enjoying it. This is my first experience with Sydney Grace eyeshadows and the quality is really nice. I love the colors that Mel chose. I'm kind of going back and forth about whether I should do a green look or a pink look. But I think for today's video, I'm just going to recreate the look that I was wearing in another one of my videos because I did get a lot of requests to do a get ready with me on that. So I'm going to go in with the shade Love Bug and just blend that into the crease and then also up as a transition color. So I find that these matte shadows are very, very rich, so you honestly just need a small amount. I like to go in with a little bit and then kind of build the color up. Even though they are so pigmented, they blend out so well. I feel like I've gotten a lot of recommendations to try Sydney Grace eyeshadows over the past month because I think I mentioned in a video that I've been wanting to try more indie shadows and just try some different brands. I have a tendency of to purchase the same brands over and over. But as someone who loves eyeshadow so much, I feel like it's almost more fun to try different brands and see what else is out there. So this has been a really fun palette to play with. All right, to save some time, I'm just going to finish blending this eye and then I'll be right back. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to take the shade Bugaboo and blend that one into the outer corner, but also into the crease as well. I just realized I got probably too much of this because these shadows are so intense. But how are you guys doing? How is your summer going so far? I can't believe fall is right around the corner. I mean, we still have, I guess, like a month, and I didn't even realize it until like my fall allergies kicked in. My husband and I were kind of looking at photos from last summer and we had so much going on. We had like such a fun full summer and we were doing something every weekend, and I feel like that's typically when the seasons go by so quickly. This summer we've just been chilling at home and sometimes we go to the park and walk our dogs. We walk our dogs like 3 or 4 times a day. I feel like they're getting so sick of us. I've kind of been enjoying just like a more laid back year overall. Obviously, I do not wish that this pandemic happened. I don't wish for any of the horrible things that have come from it, but I do think that it's caused us, you know, my husband and I know so many other people, just to slow down and not feel like you have to be like on the go, committing to a bunch of things. And that part has been so nice. But I think when things get back to normal, or, you know, whatever that looks like, one thing that I want to implement is just having more of like an open calendar and just having time to not be at places and not do things all the time. I'm going to go in with this shade Meadowhawk and place that all over the lid. This is such a stunning metallic. It kind of has like a liquid metal vibe. But what are things like where you guys are at? I know that it's different all around the world, and even within the United States, like different states and different regions have, you know, all different rules and restrictions. I live in the Northeast. We're only about like 2.5 hours from New York City. So I feel like my entire area has been super strict since the beginning. And it's still kind of that way. I mean, I know that schools are doing different things as well, but the schools where I live are all going online in the fall, like the elementary schools, the middle schools, the high schools, even some of the colleges. I don't have kids, so that's not like a hard decision that I have to deal with personally, but I feel for those of you that are trying to decide what to do, because I'm sure it's very overwhelming and really stressful either way. I'm just going to take a little bit of the shade Marvel, which is just a little bit lighter, and just add that to the center of the eye, just to kind of brighten things up even more. Okay, I think that should do it. So as you guys can see, there is really no fallout. Even though these shadows are really intense, I don't experience a lot of fallout. They're a little bit powdery, but I usually just kind of tap my brush off and I'm good to go. I'm just going to do my liquid liner off camera. I can never capture it on camera because I have to get so close to the mirror. So I'm just going to use the Urban Decay Perversion liquid liner and just kind of apply this into a wing. So for the lower lash line, I'm just going to do something very, very similar. So I'll start with the shade Love Bug, which is the color that I used as a transition and then also in the crease, and just kind of blend that out lightly. I'm going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Alkaline and just run this on my waterline and then a little bit on my lower lash line and blend it out as well. This is a little bit of like a dark, smoky lower lash line, which I feel like the top part of the eye is like really bright and then the bottom's a little bit more smoky, but I don't know, I'm kind of feeling it today. Okay, let me do the brows and then I will apply mascara. So I'm testing out an older favorite. This is the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara. I used to love this product. I actually got a slightly darker shade, so I have 02 Brownie Brows. There was one point where this was like the only brow gel that I used, and then I think I had discovered the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel, so I was kind of on like a big Brow Boss Gel kick. The formulas are a lot different, and right now I'm kind of loving the Hourglass Arch Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel, and I feel like this formula is very, very similar to the Hourglass one, so I recently repurchased this so I could test it out and see if it would be a good dupe for the Hourglass gel. So far I feel like this one is maybe a little bit more liquidy, but after I use it for maybe a few weeks or it gets a chance to dry out, I do feel like it could be a really good alternative. So I personally like to apply my brow gel and then let it dry and then go in with a pencil afterwards. So I'll be back in a few minutes after I give this a chance to dry. So I'm going to fill in the rest of my brows with the Urban Decay Brow Blade. I'm going to start with the pencil side and just kind of lightly define the lower part of my brow. And then I'm just going to work my way up and kind of fill in the rest of the brow as well. Just kind of lightly, nothing too intense. And then I'm just going to use the ink stain side for the rest of my brow. Okay, I just kind of cleaned my brows up a little bit. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of the shade Web, which is the light shimmery shadow, and just kind of highlight my brow bone and then also my inner corner as well. Web also looks really pretty all over the lid. If you're looking like for a fun highlight shade for like the center of your lid, I love this color because it is really, really intense. I'm almost done with the eyes, so I have this new Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. They did send me this as PR. I've been testing it out a little bit. I think that maybe I've worn it like 2 or 3 times, so I'm still trying to decide how I feel about it. You guys, this is a tubing mascara. Tubing mascaras honestly creep me out so much because they kind of form like little tubes around your eyelashes. So it's weird because they're waterproof, these mascaras, and they stay in place so well. And then at the end of the night, all you have to do is add water and then you can like slide the mascara right off your eyes. I didn't realize this was a tubing mascara the first time I tried it, and this always happens to me. I started removing my mascara and I just thought all of my eyelashes were falling out. This mascara is kind of nice because it does make my lashes really, really long. It doesn't add a ton of volume, which I usually do like a mascara that does both, like it adds volume and length. But if you're looking for a good lengthening mascara and you like the tubing formula, I think you'll like this one. So for bronzer, I'm going to use the Too Faced Chocolate Gold bronzer. This one is just a really beautiful warm bronzer with a good amount of shimmer to it. So I'm not going to be too precise. I'm just going to kind of blend it everywhere. Although maybe I shouldn't go in with too much because my foundation is already just a little bit too dark. So I'll just go in with a small amount. I do want to put some on though because I'm planning on filming a video on my favorite bronzers right after this. So it would be weird, I feel like, to talk about bronzers and not wear any. So I've been using these little e.l.f. blush and highlighter duos, and I think that they are so much fun. They did send me a couple of these in the mail, but I also purchased, I think, 1 or 2 other shades. Today I'm going to use the pomegranate duo, so I'm going to go in with the blush, which is actually pretty intense, so I'm going to kind of apply it to my brush and then blend a good amount off onto my hand and just lightly apply it to the cheeks. I think that this will be a good option if you do like a little bit of a brighter blush or you have a deeper skin tone, because this is a pigmented color. The actual shade goes really well with this eyeshadow though, so I do think it would complement it nicely. And I'm just going to go in with that on the cheeks. Typically before I go in with highlight, I just take a little bit of this Hourglass Ambient Lighting powder. I was going to call it a blush. Powder in the shade Diffused Light, and just kind of go over the blush even more, just because I don't usually like a super intense blush, and then sometimes I have a tendency to kind of blend it up a little bit too high, so I feel like this just kind of softens everything really well. I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer and apply it right on that freckle on my nose. That is what I typically do if I'm doing more of a full coverage look. I'll just let that dry while I apply highlighter, and then I will go over it with a little bit of pressed powder just to kind of blend it in. So the highlighter in this duo is really pretty. I haven't actually tested it. I don't know if it's going to be too dark for my skin tone and just kind of what I typically go for, but I'll try it out anyway. What's nice about these duos is you can use the blush and the highlighter separately, or you can kind of mix them together if you do like a shimmery blush, which I do think is kind of fun. I've been doing that with one of the other ones that I have. I am so excited to try out these ColourPop Luxe Lip Oils. I've been wanting to try these for a while, but I think that I will actually use a lip liner underneath. This is the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Little One, so I'm just going to line my lips with this lip liner, and then I'll go in with one of the Luxe Lip Oils on top. I'm going to go in with the shade Playa Vista, which is a really pretty nude, and just apply it right on top. It definitely feels really, really light, like even more light than the, what are those called? Luxe lip glosses. Those are pretty light, but they definitely still feel like a lip gloss. I mean, this is pretty even on its own. It's definitely a lip oil. If you've tried anything like this, I mean, these are meant to be pretty sheer, pretty lightweight, and they don't have like a sticky texture to them. They definitely have like a lightweight, oily feel. So I guess I don't know how often I would wear these on top of like a lip liner or a lipstick. I'd probably just wear them on their own when I want something on my lips, but I don't want a lip gloss or even like a tinted lip balm because I feel like these are even lighter. So this is the final look. I definitely want to do a couple of check-ins. I'll let you guys know how the foundation wears throughout the day. So I'll check in with you guys in a few hours, but everything went on really nicely. I think the foundation definitely looks matte. When I initially applied it, I thought it might be a little bit more of like a natural finish, but after setting it into place with a powder, I mean, I've had this on for almost 2 hours. It's a little bit later. It's 1 o'clock. They're doing some construction right outside my house, so I've just been trying to like film in between whatever they're doing, drilling or whatever, so it's taken me a little while. But I mean, I've been wearing the foundation for about 2 hours at this point, and it definitely looks matte on the skin, so we'll see how it holds up. I mean, I also think it might be transfer proof. I'll wear a mask for a little while today because I do have to run a quick errand, so we'll see how that works, but I'll check in with you guys in a few hours and let you know what I think. Okay, I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at my makeup in natural light. It's pretty overcast today, but I feel like it's still kind of washing me out. At least you can get an idea of how the makeup looks on the skin. I think it looks pretty good on the skin. Even though it is a pretty intense matte foundation, it doesn't really seem to be enhancing a lot of texture or settling into fine lines. So far so good. I'll check in with you guys in a few hours and let you know how it wears. Okay, I just thought I would do a quick check-in with you guys. This is what my skin looks like. I've had the foundation on for about 6 hours. I mean, over 6 hours at this point, and it is looking pretty oily, especially around my nose. I'm kind of surprised because this claims to be like a super long wearing matte foundation, and it looked really matte when I first applied it, but after 6 hours, it's definitely getting really oily. I was outside a few times walking the dogs, and then I filmed another video. I've been like running around my house. It's been a really busy day, so I'm not surprised because I haven't just been like sitting around doing nothing, but I do feel like it could probably last a little bit longer. I'm going to blot my skin, add a touch-up powder, and then I'll check in with you guys at the end of the night. I'm back with my final check-in. It is currently at 10:51, so I've had this makeup on for about 12 hours. My skin looks like an oily mess. I hate how my foundation looks. I honestly just want to run and wash it all off. I'm kind of surprised by this foundation. I'm not going to write it off completely. I'm definitely going to test it out with a different primer and maybe like a different powder and see how it wears and see if I can get it to work well for me. But this is kind of what the original Born This Way foundation did to my skin by the end of the day. I felt like it looked oily, and I will say that this one stayed in place better. Like underneath the oily sheen, I do feel like the foundation is still there for the most part, but it just looks so oily. I used some mattifying skincare products. I used a matte primer, a matte powder, so I do feel like I prepped my skin well for like a hot summer day, but I still feel like it just looks incredibly oily. So far I'm not loving this foundation. I'm definitely going to test it out a few more times, and then I'll update you guys at the end of the month, probably in my August favorites and fails, and let you know what I think, but right now I'm just not loving it. I did want to try on the ColourPop Luxe Lip Oil on its own and see what it looks like because I only wore it over a lip liner. Actually, let me blot my skin really quick too. I'm not going to add any extra powder because I'm just going to wash my face after I film this, but I definitely feel like once I do blot away the oiliness, the actual foundation is still in place and I still see that coverage. So it might just be a matter of maybe setting it with a different powder, prepping my skin with a different primer, because overall, I mean, I feel like the foundation held up. I just don't know why my skin is looking so oily today. So we'll see. But as for the Luxe Lip Oil, it looks nice on its own. It's a very, very lightweight oil, so it doesn't feel too slippery or overly hydrating. It just feels nice on the lips, and I am enjoying this. So I will continue to wear this. The Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara definitely stayed in place well. There is no flaking, no smudging. It's obviously an expensive mascara. It's a high-end mascara. So if you have a drugstore alternative that works well for you, that doesn't flake or smudge and gives you the length that you want, you probably don't need to run out and purchase this one. For me, the Essence Lash Princess does that, and that one's like $5, but I know a lot of people say that that one actually smudges on them. So if that's the case and you like high-end mascaras, you might enjoy this one, especially if you like a tubing formula. But, you know, I'm pretty content with my drugstore mascaras. I did love this little e.l.f. duo. I've really been enjoying these. And then as for the Tiny Marvels palette, of course, I love this as well. It does stay in place well. It blends out so easily. And if there is another look you want to see using this palette, let me know. So that is pretty much it for today's video. Like I said, I'll keep you updated on the Too Faced foundation. I can't imagine that my opinion is going to change too much, but if it does, I'll let you guys know. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye.